Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be talking through some MLB player props I like for today on Prizepicks for Saturday, June the 25th. We do have a full slate of games once again for today, full 15 games. It is worth noting though, it's kind of a split slate, so we do have a good amount of games during the day. There's 15 games total, 8 of them start between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the other 7 games start from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So we got 8 early games, we got 7 night games. For this video specifically, for the plays I found, at first look, all 3 of the plays I'm on, early look are coming from the late games. So hopefully by the time you're watching this video, you'll definitely, you'll be able to get these plays in before all the games have started. I will take a look at the board once again on Saturday, find some more plays that I like for these early games, and I will share those over on Patreon. So if you guys want to get access to the Patreon, get access to all of my additional Prizepicks plays, I provide those on Patreon, link down below in the description. If that is something that does interest you, you can check that out, link down below. But we'll talk through the 3 plays I like for today, guys. We'll share why I like them. Before we do, we can recap our plays from Friday. And Friday, it wasn't a terrible day. Didn't get a clean sweep, sadly, but we did go 2-1. We hit the over on Dylan Bundy's fantasy score, took it over 18.5, and he finished with 25 fantasy points, so he went over pretty easily. And I know that line did get bumped up a little bit after I made my video, but he still went over his bumped up line too. I think it bumped up to like 20.5. So he went over that one as well. I think he pitched like 6 innings, got a quality start, only gave up, I think, 1 run, had like 2 strikeouts. He didn't pitch like the most incredible game by any means, but he did enough to go over his fantasy score, which was all that we needed him to do. And then we also hit the over on Merrill Kelly's strikeouts. We needed 5 strikeouts from Merrill Kelly, and he got us 5 strikeouts. That one was a little bit sweaty because Kelly only had like 3 strikeouts through the 5th inning, but he came back out there, pitched the 6th inning, got 2 Ks in the 6th inning, and finished with 5. Sadly, though, the one play that did not hit was over on Sandy Alcantara's strikeouts. We needed 6 Ks from Alcantara, and he only got 4. I don't regret that play. I know it was a tougher matchup against the Mets, and I know the Mets are a team that doesn't strike out much, but we've seen Alcantara be able to rack up Ks this season. Last time he faced the Mets, he had 8 strikeouts. Just couldn't punch guys out, on Friday. I watched a lot of that game, and, he had some 2-strike counts. He had plenty of opportunities to get Ks and just, couldn't finish the job. Came up short, sadly, but still, we went 2-1 on Friday, so hopefully you guys maybe made a little bit of money if you did a flex play, or if you did a mix and match. If you did a 2-pick maybe with Bundy and Kelly, could have made some money. But let's talk through the 3 plays I like for today. Real quick though, guys, one more thing. Hit that like button. Always appreciate the likes. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Also, check out Prizepicks. Make sure to sign up for Prizepicks and use promo code NOAH. Prizepicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And you can take a look at the board that Prizepicks has available for today. They already have a lot of MLB props posted at the time I'm making this video on Friday night. I'm sure they'll add even more props as we get closer to the start of the games on Saturday. They offer a ton of other sports as well outside of just MLB. So if you like to dabble into other sports, Prizepicks is a site that offers a lot of sports. You can mix and match sports. You can do multi-sport entries. It's a ton of fun. Highly recommend you guys check them out, and make sure to sign up with that promo code NOAH, so that way you get a deposit bonus when you sign up. Well, let's talk through my 3 plays for today. We got 2 pitcher fantasy scores that I like, and then we have a strikeout prop that I like. So first off, for pitcher fantasy score, going to go down to one of the late night games, and I like this one quite a bit. It's all based on matchup, and I'm taking the over on 25.5 pitcher fantasy score for Zach Davies today. Now, Zach Davies, by no means is he a great pitcher. He's pretty average pitcher. He does a really good job of generating soft contact. He doesn't get barreled up too much. He doesn't really get hit hard too much. As you can see in terms of hard hit percentage, like he ranks really highly in hard hit percentage, meaning he doesn't give up a lot of hard hits. Also, average exit velocity is high as well, so he doesn't give up a lot of hard hit balls. Everything else is about average. K rate. He's not a guy that generates a ton of strikeouts. He just has a 19% K rate this season. But again, this is just all matchup based. Davies gets to face the Tigers today, and the Tigers are one of the worst teams in the league. I'll continue to say that until they prove different. And so far this year versus right-handed pitching, they rank highly in terms of strikeout rate, and that's the only thing they rank highly in. They have a really high K rate, 24% strikeout rate, so they do strike out quite a bit. Every other category, they're towards the bottom. Batting average, they have the 3rd worst batting average versus right-handed pitching. On base percentage, they have the second to worst, second to last worst on base percentage. Slugging, they are dead last in slugging. OPS, they are second to last in OPS. Basically, everything I've said about Merrill Kelly, why I liked his prop so much on Friday, is pretty much the same thing for Davies. Now, Kelly and Davies, they're not like the exact same pitchers, but Davies he is a guy that can generate soft contact, can get through these easy lineups, and this is a fairly easy lineup for him to get through. Again, the Tigers are just not a team you're going to worry about. They don't have a ton of great hitters. They have plenty of strikeouts in their lineup as well. Right now, Davies, his K prop is set at 4, and I was looking at that. Like, I kind of like the over 4 strikeouts for Zach Davies, but I think I could see a scenario where maybe he doesn't go over his strikeouts. Like, maybe he pitches 6 innings, gets 3 Ks, gets a quality start, gets a win, and goes over fantasy score, but doesn't go over strikeouts. That's why I took fantasy score, just because I think Davies can get us a quality start, and if he does that, he's probably going to go over his fantasy score. Maybe he doesn't get 4 Ks. I think he'll at least push this line, though, so you could take his over 4 strikeouts as well. It's just such a good matchup, and I know Davies is not like the best pitcher by any means, but he's been pitching really well lately, which is something worth noting. Over his last few starts, I know he's had some really good games lately. Some of them have been kind of easy matchups, but he faced the Reds twice. He had 34 and 46 fantasy points against the Reds. He faced the Pirates, obviously a really good matchup, but he had 45 fantasy points against the Pirates. Last start against the Padres, got beat up a little bit, only had 15 fantasy points. But this is not a spot where you would expect Davies to struggle too much. And maybe Davies does struggle today. Who knows? But I think given the matchup against a bad Tigers team, with how much they strike out, with just how little they, in terms of runs, you never expect the Tigers to score a ton of runs. Right now, I think their implied run total, like just a 4.2 implied run total. Just such a good matchup. I'll target the matchup here, and I do like the over 25.5 fantasy points for Zach Davies today. Now, our next prop is actually going to be an under, and this is one that I put my entry in. I always play these picks, every single day. I'm always putting my money on my picks that I play. I actually put my entry in before I started recording this video, and the line actually moved on this play. I refreshed the board right before I started recording, and I noticed the projection went down. I'm still going to give the play out, with what the line is now, but I did want to show my entry. So we're going to be taking the under on Josh Winkowski's fantasy points, and this is I screenshotted my entry just to show you guys. I had it at 24.5, took the under. It was going to be one of my plays. His line actually did go down to 20.5, but I think I'm still fine playing this as an under, so we're going to take this one as well. It's going to be our second play for today. Obviously, I got it at 24.5, which, again, like when it comes to MLB and the MLB board, Prizepicks, they usually post their MLB board the night before. Like, I'm recording this video on Friday night at 1:30 in the morning. They post their board early, early or late, like Thursday or late Friday night. And as people start to make bets and stuff, they'll kind of adjust the lines. Like, their MLB board is very, it just bounces all over the place. Like, as soon as they post lines, you'll see a bunch of lines change as they post them, like as they get posted. So I kind of expected that to be the case. Like, I know yesterday or 2 days ago, we posted some picks, and then like the lines changed like shortly after I made my video. That could always happen, and this is obviously a scenario where that did happen, the line changed. But again, I'm fine still playing it. Talking through this under for Winkowski, this is a matchup where I just think he probably is going to struggle. If you look at where the Guardians, if you look at where the Guardians rank, like versus right-handed pitching this season, they've been one of the best teams offensively versus right-handed pitching. Second best batting average in the league. In terms of on-base percentage, they rank pretty highly there. They're top 10 in on-base percentage. In terms of slugging, they're top 10 in slugging as well. In terms of OPS, they're top 10 in OPS. And in terms of like WRC plus, they're top 10 in WRC plus. Also, if you look at strikeout rate, they have the lowest strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching. They're only striking out 17.9% this season versus righties, which is by far the lowest in the league. So it's a really, really tough matchup here for Winkowski. We don't have much of a sample on him. He's only made 3 starts this season, and I want to pull up his game log. He has gone over this fantasy score in 2 out of 3 starts that he's made, but the last 2 starts have been against the Tigers and against the Athletics, obviously 2 of the worst teams in the league. He did face the Orioles in his first start. He went 3 innings, gave up 4 runs, had 9 fantasy points. So far this season, in these 3 starts that Winkowski has made, there's nothing special about him. I mean, he has just a 14% strikeout rate. His expected ERA is a little bit higher than his actual ERA is, so he's maybe even been getting a little lucky. His expected WOBA is like 341, which is fairly high. His WOBA's he's given up a 331 WOBA, 457 expected slugging. So like these numbers are just kind of like mediocre at best. And now that Winkowski's getting in a tougher spot against a team that doesn't strike out, that's going to put the ball in play, I could definitely see him giving up some runs here. He doesn't really get many strikeouts, as you see. He has a very low K rate, 14% strikeout rate this season, and now he's facing a team that doesn't strike out much at all against right-handed pitching. So maybe Winkowski goes like 6 innings, gets a quality start, doesn't give up, but like 2 or 3 runs and gets a few strikeouts. Like, I guess there's a possibility that happens, but he hasn't been pitching super deep into games. He did go 6 2/3 innings in his last start, but again, that was against the Tigers. The start before that, he went 5 innings, and that was against the Athletics, and I think he only threw like 70 pitches or 79 pitches in that start. Yeah, he threw 79 pitches. He went 5 innings. Last start, he went 6 2/3 innings. He threw 92 pitches. But this is someone that's probably going to have like a fairly short leash. If he starts getting beat up, I think the Red Sox will be pretty quick to pull him. So there's plenty of ways he could go under here. He could, not pitch super deep into the game. He could give up a bunch of runs. I don't think he's really going to be able to rack up many strikeouts just because he's not a pitcher that gets a lot of strikeouts, and this is a team that doesn't strike out much. I just don't think his fantasy score should be this high. I thought 24.5. I thought it was a great play under that. Even at 20.5, I'm still fine taking the under just because I think most likely Winkowski pitches like 5 innings, gives up like 3 runs, gets like 3 or 4 strikeouts. If he does that, he's going to finish with like 15, 18 fantasy points, which still puts him under this projection. So that's a second play that I like for today. And then our third and final play, we're going to go to a strikeout prop. Going to be taking the over on 5 strikeouts from Max Fried. Now, obviously, this is not the best matchup going up against the Dodgers. If you look at where the Dodgers rank this season versus left-handed pitching, they're not a team on the year that has been striking out a ton. They're about middle of the pack, 21.6% K rate for them versus lefties. But I do want to numb this down a little bit. If you look over the last 7 days, just as of late, the Dodgers actually have the second highest K rate in the league. Now, obviously, it's a short sample. It's only over the last 7 days. It's just 20 plate appearances. But they've clearly been striking out more lately. Even if you look over the last 14 days, the Dodgers have the third highest K rate versus left-handed pitching, 28.3%. When you look through this lineup individually, there are a lot of good hitters in this Dodgers lineup. By no means am I saying this is a good matchup for Fried. Fried probably will give up a few runs here, but I think he'll be able to get us at least 5 strikeouts, at least be able to push this line. And I did want to pull up his game log. I'm pretty sure he has at least 5 strikeouts in like almost every single start this season. So Fried has made 14 starts this year. He has at least 5 strikeouts in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 out of 14 starts this season, Fried has 5 Ks or more. The only starts where he did not get 5 Ks, he had 4 strikeouts against the Rockies, had to pitch in Coors Field, so that was a tougher matchup. He had 4 strikeouts against the Cubs, which is a little weird, and then he had 4 strikeouts against the Nationals, a team that doesn't strike out much. The Dodgers, obviously, they're not a team that strikes out a ton, but when you look at the lineup individually, like guys like Chris Taylor, 29% K rate this season. Trace Thompson, if he's in the lineup, 30% K rate. Cody Bellinger versus left-handed pitching, he has a 25% strikeout rate. There's some guys in here that will strike out, and obviously, like I showed, the Dodgers have been striking out more lately. Fried is a good strikeout pitcher. He can definitely rack up Ks so far this year. I mean, he's got a 23.7% K rate, which is good. His walk rate's very low. He's not really gonna walk many batters. He's always gonna put the ball in the zone. He can get guys to swing and miss as well. He has a very high chase rate. Gets a lot of swings and misses on pitches outside the strike zone. And it is worth noting he has faced the Dodgers already once this season. Fried did have 8 strikeouts against the Dodgers when they faced earlier this season back in April. He pitched 7 innings, only allowed 2 hits, had 8 strikeouts. It was probably his best start of the season came against the Dodgers earlier this year. So even though it is a tougher matchup and Fried might give up a few runs here, I think he'll be able to get us 5 strikeouts. He's a good pitcher, and usually when you look at pitchers versus teams, if it's a good pitcher facing a good team, I'm always going to side with the good pitcher for the most part, especially because you do see a lot of times that when good pitchers face good teams, their props would get bumped down from what they would normally be. Like any other day, Fried's props would be way higher than they are today, but because he's facing a good team, his lines got bumped down quite a bit. But I think that's definitely a mistake. I think Fried can get us at least 5Ks today, so that's what I'm liking for today, guys. Over 25.5 fantasy score for Zach Davies, under 20.5 fantasy score for Josh Winkowski. Again, I got that at 24.5, but the line moves right after I posted my entry, or at least I made my entry. So unfortunately, it went down a little bit, but I'm still fine playing the under at 20.5, and then we're taking the over 5 strikeouts from Max Fried. So that's what I'm liking for today, guys. I wish you the best luck if you are tailing. Hope you guys enjoy your Saturday. Make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here, guys. Hit that subscribe button as well. Again, if you want to get more Prizepicks plays from me, I'll definitely share some plays that I like in some of these day games and some of these early games. If you want to get my plays that I like in the early games, check out the Patreon. Link down below in the description. I do provide a lot of additional Prizepicks plays over there. But yeah, good luck tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to sign up for Prizepicks as well. Use promo code NOAH when you sign up. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. But good luck, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.